Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. I think if I were in possession of a pocket watch, I would want to go back in time and relive this experience all over again, because it's really been a life-changing experience for me, having the chance to have met each and every one of you and to have told my story to you and to have shared my story in a whole new light and a whole new way has become the greatest honor of my life. There are so many fans who have encouraged me to keep on creating Descendants of Zombies content for the rest of my life. And as difficult as that may seem to be for a lot of people to do, you guys have nothing to worry about, because I will do indeed just that. I will create Descendants of Zombies videos for the rest of my life. I just moved into a house near a soda plantation and a chemical plant less than 2 years ago, and I intend on creating Descendants of Zombies videos, in fact, for the rest of my life. If you are somebody who has not subscribed here to this YouTube channel, I highly recommend that you do subscribe to the YouTube channel that everybody is talking about. The YouTube channel that has become everybody's favorite, Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. You're probably somebody who's called your best friend on the phone and said, hey, there's this really cool guy, his name's Jonathan Clarke, he talks about Descendants of Zombies every day for the rest of his life. Hangs up the phone, keeps watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Thank you so much for all the love and support that you have shown this YouTube channel. You're probably wondering if Jonathan Clarke would take on a fire-breathing dragon, or drive us side-by-side through a rabbit hole, or jump into a sea infested with zombies. Sure I would. And you don't have to worry about Jonathan Clarke doing his own stunts, because Jonathan Clarke is always ready to go. Jonathan Clarke was always a pro wrestling fan, so when it comes to being involved in these high adrenaline rushing, high action scenes with impact, Jonathan Clarke is always ready to go. Jonathan Clarke has never needed his own stunt doubles, and he always wanted to entertain you guys. He always wanted to be everybody's dream action hero for the Descendants franchise. And I think that I can go as far as to say that it would be everybody's favorite installment of the Descendants franchise if in fact Jonathan Clarke was a character. I've always had a greater appreciation for fairy tales and telling their stories and hearing their stories, no matter what version of Cinderella or Alice in Wonderland we may have heard through the last at least 100 years, which is the better part of a century. I've always had a greater appreciation for hearing many different versions of this story. But when it comes to stories and the way they were told, I think Disney had a very powerful way of telling this story in a very different way. It really changed our perspective on how these stories may have been told, and when we saw Disney's versions of these characters, it was brought to life in a whole new light. It gave us more inspiration than ever before. It made us believe in the chance of finding true love, finding that one person that we could have a chance at least to spend the rest of our lives with. That's what's so beautiful about the way Disney could tell these stories, how much inspiration we could take from them. And I've always had a favorite Disney character, no matter if it was Buzz Lightyear, no matter if it was Hercules or Aladdin. I always had something special to take away from all of their stories. And I love sharing my story with each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much for listening and being with me from the very first video that I ever uploaded here, because in the very first video I ever uploaded here, I made a promise to each and every one of you that I was in fact going to upload a Descendants of Zombies video every day for the rest of my life. And I'm here. I moved into a house near a soda plantation and a chemical plant, and I've been here ever since, and to be honest with you guys, I'm having the most fun of my entire 25-year career. And in those 25 years, I've talked about everything, from my favorite Disney characters to my favorite moments that were pop culture related, having everything to do with names such as Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Selena Gomez, Miley Cyrus. I've been the biggest fans of them. But I have never been as big of a fan as quite like I've been of Descendants of Zombies. I've been forever supportive of Descendants of Zombies fans. I've often referred to the Descendants of Zombies fandom as a universe or a galaxy, because I think the world is never big enough to accommodate or recognize every fan of Descendants of Zombies. You guys belong as part of a galaxy or a universe, and I would love to be a part of that with each and every one of you. I have offered my voice to the soundtrack of Descendants of Zombies for what feels like forever, and become one of the most recognizable voices in the history of these franchises for the way these stories were told. I very quickly fell in love with these franchises. I remember reading some of the first initial reviews that were ever posted on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb of Descendants, and nobody really ever wanted to give this one much of a chance. They were criticizing it. They were criticizing the direction of the plot, the way the characters had received development. Everything somebody could criticize, they would. But the most love and support that I saw for Descendants of Zombies came from fans of Descendants of Zombies who never quit on it, who had this attitude of, we're never going to quit on you, we're forever and always going to love you, and because you guys have never quit on Descendants of Zombies and you have believed in it so much, we've been given the chance as journalists with you guys to experience so much together. We've cried together, we've laughed together, we've shared in some of the finest moments in the history of Descendants of Zombies, and certainly some of the most unforgettable. Because no matter who we were, we took something special away from Descendants of Zombies, regardless if it was a favorite character, a favorite song that our favorite character may have sang, a duet, a moment where Zed may have been punched in the face by Addison, but they realized they loved each other with all their heart, or when Red and Chloe became friends for the very first time, even with how much they tried to hate each other, with how difficult it was. The bonds that were formed with Descendants is something I can never show enough appreciation for or seem to never get enough of. There was always something with that trio of Ruby, Kylie, and Malia that I loved so much because of how supportive they were of each other's music, each other's projects, each other's dreams and hopes. They were so encouragement of each other, and that's what I drew a lot of inspiration from. So I wanted to create all these beautiful videos inspired by Kylie, inspired by Freya, inspired by Ruby, because they were some of the most beautiful people and some of the most certainly talented that made up a cast of Descendants of Zombies. You know, we can talk about the original trilogy and the cast of the past as much as we want, but they have forever and always believed that they told the story and completed it. They've given us so many excuses as to why they'll never return to reprise their role. So that's given us more hope than perhaps ever before in this new cast, and more of a reason than perhaps ever before to believe in them. Because as far as I'm concerned, Kylie Control is just as beautiful as what Dove Cameron was, and she's just as talented, because I've never seen somebody put such beautiful lyrics to music. I've never seen someone put such beautiful lyrics to music in the way of Freya. So I think because they can put such beautiful lyrics to music in the way they have and promote themselves independently, which is always a constant struggle, take it from somebody who knows. I was a DJ for many years, and I used to premiere a lot of songs on the radio in the early half of my career. And in the early half of my career, it was very difficult. I very quickly realized how difficult it was to promote an album independently. You never know how you're going to be received or how you're going to achieve acceptance in this industry, which is forever and always changing and evolving. But from the very first take it from somebody who knows. From the very first moment you push play on somebody's song, they are forever appreciative of you because you're giving people the chance to hear their music the way they want to hear it. I've always loved sitting down conducting interviews with some of the best of them, and I've had some of my most fondest memories come from conducting interviews with some of the best of them. But the way that I perceive my interviews and my content is it's always a conversation between two people, or more people than one, who have been friends for the rest of their lives. And if you can create a conversation between people who have been the best of friends for the rest of their lives, that's what makes it so special. That's what makes your interviews and your content stand out from everybody else out there, because so many people would just talk about Descendants of Zombies and never tell you a story that relates to Descendants of Zombies. I've often told you this funny story about how I moved into this house near a soda station and a chemical plant, which I actually did, because I thought it was the most effective way of telling a story about Descendants of Zombies and becoming a believer in it more than anybody else ever could. And that's precisely why this YouTube channel has become everybody's favorite. The way that I've told this story. It's very different from the way anyone else could ever tell it, because nobody else could ever tell it the way that Jonathan Clarke could. And perhaps it had something to do with how I believed everything that I saw on TV was real when I was 10 years old. I went through this phase where I believed everything that I saw on TV was real. That's what made it so fun for me, believing in the magic, believing in the story, thinking that there was a chance of happily ever after. And even though you've probably been told 1,000 times, if never a million, happily ever after doesn't exist, there's no such thing as forever, at least this YouTube channel puts you one step closer to believing in that, and believing that you can find true love and find that one person that you can spend the rest of your life with. It may be a constant struggle for many people who watch these videos every day to find that, but I've always believed that everybody does have one light, and everybody eventually does find that light. I know that sounds very reminiscent of one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters from Final Fantasy VII, Cloud, one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters of all time, but he always believed, especially in the Kingdom Hearts series, that everybody had a light, and everybody eventually did find that light. No matter how hard it was to find it, everybody eventually does. And I think everything eventually comes full circle and becomes clearer to people. And I think because of what Descendants of Zombies has offered us, we have become a believer in hope, and our dreams becoming more of a reality than ever before. Because you remember how zombies in the Zombies franchise always wanted to achieve acceptance. And I mean, let's be honest, in a world like today that we're faced with, Finding acceptance is very difficult to find, but I think that with the love and support of our friends and obviously our family, we can find acceptance because they will forever and always love us. I've always believed that you never need a whole lot of people in your whole life to be friends with. You just need a few really good friends, and if you can hold on to those friends, if they are the one thing that is constant in your life, that one person who always calls you, that one person who always tells you everything about a guy or how they're feeling to let you know what emotions they're experiencing. That's what's so special about life. Life may be too short on times, and that's often been said through the years, and I've always been a firm believer that life is too short. But even with how short life is, that doesn't mean that we can't experience it for what it's worth and some of the joys of life, which are more joys than sadness that can be replaced by joy. Sadness can always be replaced by joy. You can always have a chance of wiping away someone's tears just by simply saying hi to them. And I think one of the things that Descendants of Zombies has often reiterated to us is that kindness really does take a person further in this lifetime. I mean, I've demonstrated kindness to everybody here on this YouTube channel. I've wanted you to be kinder to people for forever, and I've wanted to spread my own message of kindness through every video that I ever created because I saw something special in Red and her passion for creating gift baskets and her passion for studying sword fighting and her passion for choreographing all these phenomenal dance numbers for the Worlds Collide Tour. There's already a rumor about Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour happening, including Camp Rock. Although it has yet to be confirmed, I think there's a chance it could happen. I think there's a chance we could see Descendants 6. There's already rumors floating around online that Descendants 6 is currently in development at Disney, and although it remains to be seen, I think we could be setting up for a beautiful trilogy and even more stories to be told ever before. The thing is, there's an extensive library of Disney characters that have seen their introduction into the Descendants franchise, but even with how much of an extensive library of characters have already seen their introduction into this franchise, there are still so many widely known characters who have yet to see their introduction into this franchise. What about Mulan and Mushu? Remember how crazy Mushu was? He was so fun. Eddie Murphy doing his voice. He was one of the most energetic characters of all time. Where is Mushu in the Descendants franchise? Where is Mulan? She just kind of showed up at one time and just unexplainably vanished. Her character was a story that had been meant to be told, but never was. And Ruby Rose Turner's time with the Descendants franchise was very short-lived. The character Bridget offered so much to it, and I've always believed her story was never told and completed. So because I've always believed her story was never told and completed, don't you think there's more of a chance than ever before for Ruby to reemerge, come back, offer something special to this franchise? I think there is. And where is Alice in Wonderland? With the emphasis of Alice in Wonderland characters having great importance in this new spin-off, The Rise of Red, and eventually Descendants 5, Book of Wonderland, I've been waiting for forever to see Alice. And I remember, reading the Alice in Wonderland book series. There are a total of 4 of them in this series. It premiered over 100 years ago, and it made it to bookshelves just in time for Christmas. And how many people do you think bought that book? Thousands of people. And over the years, we've heard so many versions of that story. But even with how many versions of that story we've told and heard, everybody's taken something special away from it each time the story was told. Stories like Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid have often resonated with thousands of people. And now with mermaids seeing their introduction into the Zombies franchise for the first time ever, and already names of these mermaids circulating on social media, from Pearl to Ariel, all kinds of names have been floating around on social media. I think there's a chance that we could see, say, Princess Ariel and Prince Eric's daughter make their appearance in the Zombies franchise. There's so much that could happen and make us more of a believer than perhaps ever before. I think that the Worlds Collide Tour offered us the chance to experience this for the first time ever live and in person, and we all took something special away from it. And I wanted to give you guys something so special as the host of this show. I wanted to give you more of a reason than perhaps ever before to believe in a future, if anything, for Descendants and Zombies. Because so many people through the years, over the last at least decade, that Descendants and Zombies has been a part of our lives, they have offered us so much doubt in the future of Descendants and Zombies. So I wanted to give something special back to each and every single person who may have ever believed in it. I wanted you to become a believer in Descendants and Zombies more than ever before. Indeed, there would be a future for Descendants and Zombies, and I think I've created somewhat of a buzz. people are still excited about the future of Descendants and Zombies. The chances of leg 2 of this tour are happening. We know Freya Sky's Stars Align tour has been extended throughout the remainder of 2026, and this is exactly what I wanted to have happen for Freya. I am so proud of Freya Sky. Most of all, I am so proud of her fans for never having quit on her. You guys believe in Freya with all of your heart, and you guys have deserved to be encouraged that there is a future for Freya forthcoming. What lies ahead in that future, we really don't know. But I'm excited to be a part of that. And as long as you guys keep downloading and listening and streaming Freya's music, as long as you keep supporting her as an actress in roles like Nova Bright and Zombies, she's going to have a bright future. And she's going to be on that Grammy stage. I know Liamani Segura's also got a dream of performing on the Grammy stage. Perhaps she should set her sights a little bit higher than the Grammy stage, because you can only perform in so many thousands of people on the Grammy stage. And I think that's a really original dream. And I think her sights need to be set bigger. If she wants to perform in Madison Square Garden that can only seat 19,500 people, perhaps she should set her sights to performing in the Pontiac Silverdome in front of 80,000 people. Just imagine that, if she had a concert like Taylor Swift. I've heard way too much conversation about the Eras Tour, and I think as a result of hearing way too much conversation about the Eras Tour, that takes the spotlight away from people like Kylie and Freya, who have ever deserved to be in that spotlight more than ever before. And all I've ever wanted to do is encourage a hope for a dream for them, because promoting an album is very, very difficult. It is always a constant struggle in an industry that is forever and always evolving. But once you hit play on that song for somebody who just wants the chance to have their song heard, the level of appreciation that you receive is indescribable. Kind of like how I receive all this appreciation for every video that I ever create about Descendants and Zombies. I just wanted to give you guys something special back, a show that you could depend on that would actually upload videos. Because there are so many channels out there that promise you if you subscribe, more wonderful Descendants and Zombies videos will come to be of it. And how many times are you left wondering where those videos are? People promise you videos in these AI videos they create, because the majority of Descendants and Zombies videos forever and always have been comprised of AI. But these videos are never uploaded following you subscribing to the channel. At least this is a channel that comes through every single time. This YouTube channel is forever 365. There's always something new uploaded here. And I've had the honor of not only just talking about Descendants and Zombies, but I've had the honor of meeting thousands of people who've taken away something special each time they've watched Descendants and Zombies, if ever a million times. Because we've never just watched Descendants and Zombies once. We've called our friend and we've said, come over and have a slumber party and watch the entire Descendants and Zombies collection. And that's exactly what you did. And you felt closer to each other after you did it, because you shared the stories with each other about how you became fans of it, who your favorite characters were. You offered comparisons, thoughts, and predictions you may have had yourself. And this YouTube channel pretty much became an open book for people to discuss what they wanted to discuss, to feel how they wanted to feel about Descendants and Zombies. And that's what made this YouTube channel different and stand out amongst every other YouTube channel or every other content creator who's always been one step ahead of me with subscribers, I think. But the more that I think about it, I don't think anybody has ever had as many subscribers as what this YouTube channel has. This is crazy what happened for this YouTube channel, because seemingly overnight, this YouTube channel became everybody's favorite YouTube channel for Descendants and Zombies videos. And I've prided myself and put a whole lot of heart into every video that I've ever had the honor to create. Thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel of all time. There are so many wonderful videos and conversations yet for us to have that will forever and always remain. And as long as you subscribe to this YouTube channel and you ring that bell to up the subscriber count and to contribute to this YouTube channel in your own unique way, that's what makes you guys special, because you guys have saw something special in Descendants and Zombies from every video that I've ever had the honor to create and upload. And I've had the time of my life creating this content and presenting it for what I thought it was worth, which was truly something special that a lot of people took a lot of inspiration from. A favorite character, a favorite song, a favorite moment that they never ever forgot. Because on July 31st, 2015, undoubtedly, all of our lives changed for forever. And we became a part of something special that we never ever forgot. An experience that we never wanted to end, a story that we never wanted to see come to its conclusion. And it never will. As long as you guys have me and you continue to believe in this YouTube channel as much as what you have for the last 10 years, this story will never see its conclusion. It will never reach a point of finality. Because what it comes down to is how much you believe in it and how passionate you felt about Descendants and Zombies from the very first moment you watched it. You took away a favorite character, a favorite moment that you've held close to your heart for forever, and no critic, no matter who they are, has deserved to take that away from you. And I've always wanted to offer encouragement about how much further kindness can take a person in this lifetime, just how much of a profound impact kindness can truly have on a person's heart. And some way or somehow, I've come through with that message, a very powerful one at that. But I've come through with it every single time because you guys have believed in this YouTube channel with all of your heart. So for that, I would simply like to take this opportunity to say thank you to every fan of Descendants and Zombies who have been with me from the very beginning and never quit on me, have forever and always remained loyal to the content they've loved and certainly appreciated through the years. It has been my honor to create all these wonderful videos for thousands of people who have forever believed in Descendants and Zombies with all of their heart. We still have a long way to go because this story is far from over, and I'm excited to be a part of that future with each and every one of you coming along on this truly unforgettable journey. Because given how many fans of Descendants and Zombies I've already met, I still have thousands that I have yet to meet that I'm excited to meet and to be a part of this unbelievable future with in the very near future. Thank you so much for all the love and support that you've shown this YouTube channel and having made it your favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel of all time. I, of course, am everybody's favorite content creator, Jonathan Clarke, signing off for now, but I will return just after sunset tonight as we once again shed some insight on Descendants and Zombies and make the future more clearer than ever before for every fan of Descendants and Zombies, giving you something more than ever before to believe in with all of your heart. Thank you so much for having made Descendants and Zombies some of your all-time favorite franchises and perhaps the greatest of all time. And thank you so much for having watched this video.